in the ecosystem of Naruto games. By this point in 2003, Bandai had released one game, while Takara Tomy had two under its belt. That was until June 26, 2003, when Bandai released Naruto Shinobi no Sato no Jintori Kassen, a Japanese exclusive game only for the PlayStation 1. This game is unlike anything we've seen before, since it's not an RPG or even a fighter. This is actually a party game, and the physical packaging totally hides it. The box art shows us the anime version of Team 7 with just a small snippet of the gameplay on the back. But the second you crack open the classic PlayStation 1 jewel case, check out the disc and flip through this gorgeous full cover manual, you immediately start seeing the roulette wheels and the board spaces. When you hit the main menu, you're presented with multiple game modes, but the most important one is the story mode. As soon as you start it up, it kicks off at the very beginning of the series, covering the events from the start all the way to the end of the Land of Waves arc. The sections are a little bit abridged though. We jump straight from Naruto beating Mizuki to him teaching Konohamaru the sexy jutsu and then right into the belt test. They don't properly explain things like how Team 7 was formed or how they introduced themselves. Near the end of the story, the developers even start combining events. For example, they merged Naruto and Haku's second meeting in the woods with the battle Naruto had against Gato's thugs before heading to the bridge. They also combined Naruto's and Sasuke's fight against Haku by throwing Zabuza right into the mix. The story is presented in this visual novel-like style with full voiceover. What I really like about this presentation is that the images actually move and change depending on the action. Even some of the action-packed scenes are visualized in this style. The drawing seems to be taken directly from the manga and then colored in. They even take specific panels straight off the manga and use them in the game. Honestly, the voice acting in this game is some of the best I've heard in any Naruto game. Just listen to this.
お前にだけは決して知らされることのない掟だ。
何の話だよ。何なんだ。やめろ。
Once the visual novel cutscenes wrap up, you are thrown straight into the game board. Before the match even starts, you are presented with the board-specific win conditions, and it's not always just about being the last ninja standing. Each chapter has different goals, like winning by hoarding a certain amount of chakra, having the highest amount of chakra after a certain amount of rounds, or securing a victory with a specific character. At first glance, the UI looks like a lot, but once the game begins, every turn gives you 4 clear options. The first one is the roulette. Instead of rolling dice, you spin a roulette wheel to determine how many steps you move. Then we have the skills. By spending ninja pills, you can set traps to fling opponents across the map, invert their movement paths, or heavily drop their various defenses. Stats and map. You can check the current standings to see who's closest to winning or view the entire board layout to plan your next roll. Once you roll the roulette and move your steps, you can buy empty zones using your currency, which in this case is chakra. Price changes depending on the locations, but once you buy it, it's yours. There is actually a surprising amount of strategy here. If you buy multiple adjacent zones, they link together and deal significantly more damage to anyone who lands on them. If you land on your own zone again, you can level it up to increase the toll. But what happens if you land on a high level enemy zone and don't have enough chakra to pay the toll? You're completely screwed. You have to start liquidating your assets and sell off your own properties just to get out of debt. If you sell everything and are still in debt, the game becomes a brutal survival mode where you can't buy any land, you can't attack, and you just have to pray for a good chance card. But here is where the massive ninja twist comes in. If an enemy steps on your zone, they don't just have to pay up, they have a second option. Instead of paying the toll, they can literally challenge the owner to a battle. This triggers a combat minigame where you play as either the attacker or the defender. Both players spend chakra to select a scroll equipped with specific jutsus, which grant attack and defensive points. After picking your scroll, you spin a wheel for bonus points and then the battle commences. We get these awesome animated cutscenes of the characters executing their jutsus. The winner is determined by the total stats from the scrolls, the roulette spin, and the level of the barrier itself. If the defender wins, the barrier stays and the attacker takes the damage. But if the attacker wins, they take 0 damage and they steal the zone outright. Some characters even have special defensive jutsus that grant unique defensive abilities to completely ignore the attacker's points. The animation for these attacks and the voice acting behind them are absolutely insane. Just listen.
水遁大幕府の術
何
While traversing the board, you run into the several special spaces. Navigation fields let you choose branching paths, and red symbols give you blindly drawn chance cards. These cards can completely shift the tide of the game, receiving/losing chakra, manipulate the numbers on the roulette wheel, or teleport players across the map. The best part, you can use them on yourself to get ahead, or force them onto your enemies to ruin their day. But the main goal of running around the board is to collect these orbs. If you land exactly on an orb, you get free barrier upgrade. If you collect all the orbs on the map and complete a full lap, you are rewarded with this massive payout of chakra, ninja pills, and sometimes a highly overpowered item, the secret ninja scroll. The scroll gives broken abilities like taking over enemy zones just by rolling a high number. If you complete another lap while holding it, the scroll levels up and gets even stronger. But it's extremely high risk, high reward. Holding the scroll puts a massive target on your back. If an enemy simply lands on the exact space you are standing on, they automatically steal it from you. Right near the end of the story mode, the gameplay switches up entirely and throws you into two special race minigames. Instead of Monopoly, the goal here is purely vertical. Be the first player to reach the top of the board. You use chance cards to move, and every field has a special condition. You might jump on a few steps, fall all the way down, or force your opponent to skip a turn. It is heavy on RNG, but you can actually spend your chakra to redraw cards and manipulate your way to the top to secure the win. It's a bizarre but really fun way to break up the pace before the credits roll. Outside of the massive story mode, the main menu has a few other options to keep you busy. There is Party Battle, which lets you jump straight into the core board game mechanics against friends, and a Team Party mode where you can actually group up and battle it all together. If you just want a quick action, there is a minigame section to play the racing games from the story, as well as a standalone battle minigame where you can bypass the board completely, pick your favorite characters, and just fight it out using their unique jutsus. Finally, there's this extra menu. You have treasure section to view items collected during the campaign, though to be honest, I'm not entirely sure exactly how you unlock all of them. I'm assuming you have to trigger specific events on special board spaces. There's also a bingo book section where you can read up on all playable characters, check out their heights, weights, likes and dislikes. All in all, this game is an absolute breath of fresh air. Because Naruto games are almost exclusively fighters, this Monopoly style party concept stands out so much. It works surprisingly well, especially with how clever they changed the traditional rules to incorporate chakra, ninja tools and jutsu battles. Combine that with the superb presentation of the visual novel story and the animated combat sequences, and you have a genuinely hidden gem. So, for a Road to Hokage series tier list, I'm officially placing Shinobi no Sato no Jintori Kassen straight into the A tier. It earns that spot simply because of how unbelievably unique and genuinely fun it is to play. Have any of you actually played or even heard of the Japanese exclusive before? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. This was a blast to play through. Be sure to subscribe because we still have a ton of Naruto games to get through on this journey. Huge shoutouts goes to Dupa, Z-Center, Mati, Deckpads and Sopix for being channel members and supporting the series. But yeah, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. See ya, bye bye.